Hello and welcome to my channel. And we are back again on my diaspora journey. This week we're going to be talking about reskilling strategy in diaspora. If you are not following me, you should be following me. Click on that subscribe button because on this show we bring you loads and loads of guests that are well informed that will give you insight into how to thrive in the when you're in diaspora, particularly in the UK. So I'm going to allow my guests to introduce themselves. But before we do, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Abia Sonia, and I will allow you to introduce yourself, Ma. So please kindly introduce yourself.
My name is Abimbola Akinjiyan.
Okay, Ma. So please, can you tell us what you do and maybe how long you've been in the UK?
Well, oh God, I'm gonna have to calculate that now. Well, basically, I think I've been in the UK since 2007, so roughly about going to about 17 years now. I'm an MRI radiographer working well as a locum. So I work in different places with different hospitals. At the same time, I'm a business owner. I own and manage 3C Creations, where we do printing, embroidery, supply of wholesale gifts and souvenirs, all branded.
Okay,
I am
okay, Ma.
married,
And yes,
a mother of three.
yes. You have to drop that, Ma, because this evening you're looking very, very tantalizing. So it's very, very important that you drop that very, very important
Exactly.
point to me. So even though you're looking like a sweet 16, you've got some people older than sweet 16 as your children, right?
Thank God for that.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you some questions, ma. So it's going to be a
Okay.
very relaxed, a very relaxed interview. So the
Okay.
first question I'm going to be asking you, um, if you would like to tell us your career journey, in the UK. I know a lot of people, it's not what you start with that you end up with. So there's
Yeah.
always a journey. So I was hoping that you'll be able to take us through that journey, your career journey in the UK.
Okay. Okay. Right. So, like I said, I came to the UK with my husband and my daughter in the year 2007. I came in as a qualified microbiologist, but then getting to the UK, it's not what you think. You can't get into that field that easily, and mainly because, they're always looking for some UK experience, which obviously you don't have at the time. So I had to pick up different jobs along my journey. Uh, I worked in factories. I worked in the kitchen. I worked in a lot of schools. But for me at the time, those were just a learning phase. I
Yeah.
knew that was not the destination. I knew where I was coming from. I knew where I want to get to. But in order to get through to the destination I'm going to, I had to pass through all those. So towards the end of trying to actually reskill myself, I was like, at a point, you know what, I'm not doing all this factory, all this going around. I'd rather go into a customer service role, which I
Mm.
got into. Like I said, I actually came in 2006, 2006, not
Ah.
2007. So I got into the customer service role at the tail end of 2007. And I was in that role where I rose up to an interim manager up until 2011, when I now decided to go back to the university to study diagnostic radiography. And you would wonder, why not continue in my microbiology roots, which obviously I brought from abroad. But I remember going for an open day at the University of Salford. And when I went there, my intention was to see what program I could get onto for a master's. So I spoke
Yes.
to one of the course advisors there, and I was like, "Oh, I'd like to do a master's." Prior to that, I've been looking at what I can do. So I said I wanted to do diagnostic radiography. So I said I wanted to do a master's in that. And the lady just looked at me and she was like, "Well, it's good, it's good that you want to do diagnostic radiography, but can I give you an advice?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And she said, "If tomorrow you qualify and they want to employ somebody for a job, they would rather take somebody that have a bachelor's degree in diagnostic radiography than you coming with your master's in any radiography degree because you do not
Mm.
have the basics." And that just rang a bell in my head. And I'm like, wow, so I have to go over and start over. Oh God, I've already done two. Well, basically, I did 2 degrees in Nigeria before coming over to the UK. I'm like, oh God, do I have to
Wow.
go and start another degree again, all the way from year one? But anyway, I took her advice. I went to other stands. I came back home and told my husband about it. We discussed about it, and you know what? We just sat down. We were like, you know what? It's a 3-year course. In Nigeria, I know the number of years it took me to complete a 4-year course. With all the strikes, I know you don't have that
Yes.
in this environment. So I just thought, you know what? It's going to pass very quickly, and that's how we decided that yeah, I'll start, and that's what began my journey as a
Yes.
radiographer in the UK.
Wow, ma. You know what? I say it's good to be God led. When I thought about this topic, the bad thing, I had people that came to my mind, but yours was so strong. Like, no, ask her, ask her, ask her. I was like, why does he have to, can I not give the other topic that I can give her? But this topic was just for you. It was always you that kept coming to my mind. So, ma,
Uh,
if I have not thanked you before, thank you so much for honoring my invitation. And you know what? God leads. Look at everything you've said. That's a journey for someone to have 2 degrees and then bring everything down and almost as if you're starting. So it's not almost. You started all over again. That is so humbling, you know. And I'm sure that took a lot of intentionality as well, thorough planning. So thank you for that journey, ma, because often we look at people, they are in certain positions. I love stories. If you don't know their story, you will not really
yeah.
appreciate the journey that they've taken to get to where they are. So thank you very, very much, ma. So
And thank you,
what
thank you,
made
thank
you
you too. Thank you too, even for the opportunity, to bring me on here. And thank you for all you do because I've followed a couple of your diaspora series. And thank you very much because, it's educating a
thank,
lot of people. So keep up the good work.
thank you, ma. Thank you very much, ma. So, what made you decide to? Okay, you've already said that. What made you decide to risk? You've already answered that. So, what advice would you give to someone that has been in this country, is not doing anything that is related to their degree, or maybe they don't even have a degree, and maybe they are doing just menial job to get by, and because you have to pay international fees if you're on
Yeah,
certain category of visa,
yeah.
and that means you have to finance that by yourself. So I'm just wondering, what advice would you give to someone in that situation?
So as far back as, over 15 years ago, when I came to the United Kingdom, what applies then does not apply now. Back then it was difficult for you to get into most of the degrees you bring from abroad. It was difficult for you to get into a role here, but what I've realized now, it's not as difficult. So peradventure anyone is coming into this country and you've got a degree abroad, please find out. Information is very, very key. Find
Yes.
out how your current skill can work in the UK. I've seen a lot of people that have come in with their degrees from abroad and they're getting straight into what they've been doing. I think the
Um,
United Kingdom is a lot more enlightened now. So
yes.
obviously they'll put you on, like a part. So it could be like, an assistant practitioner, depending on what area you're going into, and just watch you for a while before you're fully, you know, fully qualified. In not that you are doing a requalification, but before they can leave you to work independently, they'll give you a
Yeah.
mentor. So the first thing I would say is whatever skill you have got, please and please, in whatever industry it is, go and find out how what you have got can be applicable there. And then if you want to like change, if you're thinking, oh, I don't even want to go into this, this particular area again, I want to do something new, I would
Yes.
advise, check your current skill set. How easily can you transfer your current skill set to what you want to do? Because you've got to inwardly reflect. Is it something that is going to be easy for you to easily adapt to? The
Yes.
skill set that you required in this new role you want to go into, how easily can you bring what you've known before into it? And then the other thing you need to look at, you need to study the industry you want to go into. Do an in-depth study of it. Look at the future projections. A
Mm.
lot of us, a lot of people, like you said, the international fees is not easy. It's not easy.
Yes.
So you don't want
Yes.
to come in here and do a course just for the sake of doing a course. You've got to
Mm.
try and get a course, which is one of the things that led me to still stay in the healthcare. I love the healthcare, don't get me wrong, I love the healthcare. But one of the things that fueled my going into diagnostic radiography was the fact that I checked and I saw that it was one of the skills, it was one of the jobs that were in demand at the time.
Yeah.
So before I graduated, I'd already gotten a job. So you want a
Wow.
job that has got a future projection that by the time you're qualifying, your job is already waiting. So those
Yeah.
are the things that you need to look into. And you also need to know that Rome was not built in a day.
Yes.
You've got to put some effort into it. There's going to be
Yes.
a lot of changes which you need to be ready to adapt to, so you've got to be flexible.
Yes. Thank you very much, ma. You know, a lot of people, I love the part that you said you need to assess yourself. I call it SWOT. SWOT yourself. Know your strength, your weakness, your opportunities are the skills that man talk about that you can then transfer into whatever you want to do. I've noticed that a lot of people copy, like, oh, this person is a nurse and is living a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
So because of that, I want to become a nurse. And when they get on that course, their skills do not align. You see someone that was an art student now doing a science subject, and you are really, really struggling. You are struggling and you're finding it challenging. The job itself is challenging, and then if your capacity do not measure up, you are going to have a lot of self-inflicted stress, and you'll find yourself struggling even before you start the career. A lot of people want to be a social worker because, yes, the jobs are out there. But the truth is, do you really have the skills?
Yeah.
Can you easily learn the skills and be flexible in the work pattern? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. And there was something you really said, check the history of the job, the line, the
Yeah.
industry, that you check
Analyze
the
it.
projection. Yes, yes. A lot of people don't do that, you know. So it's very, very important. These are useful things you cannot find on Google, right? This is the lived experience that mom is sharing with you people. So please don't just watch and don't do anything. Watch and take
Yeah.
action. That is the only way the transformation will begin. Thank you, ma'am.
You're
So,
welcome.
can you share with us the challenges that you encountered? You know, I know it was not smooth. I know sometimes the boats will rock, you know, as you can expect. But what are the challenges that you encountered, and how did you overcome them?
Well, basically, I think the first thing is, I think proud to prior to commencing on this course, my last study was in year 2000. And
Wow.
I commenced this course like 11 years after. So
Oh,
having
wow.
been out of, the educational system, studying and everything for a while, it took, it was a bit of a challenge, giving having a structure that you need to work by. But I
Yeah.
thank God for the grace of God that, I was able to structure myself. The other, which was kind of probably one of the biggest challenge, was balancing family life, because obviously when I did my first degree, I was a single young girl with no responsibilities, with no husband, no children. I can go and come as I like. But in this situation, it was a bit different because I'm studying, and at the same time, I've got to apply my role as a wife and as a mother. So balancing that again was a challenge. The other challenge I had was, which had to do with the structure of the university. So one of the study skills they use is problem based learning. This was not something I'm used to. And basically, what they do is they give you a scenario, in one session, and then you have to go away and try to generate learning outcomes from that scenario. So you have to really think deeply about it. Because you've got to generate learning outcomes. But obviously, you work as a group, so which was another good thing. It helped you to know your members of your class, because any which way you guys have to liaise together to come up with this. So I think having that group thing, that structure helped to overcome that, because it was new to a few people as well. But then some people that have been used to it, having had their background here, they've been used to things like that. They were able to support those of us that it was new to. And with regards to family life, I think how I kind of adjusted to that. One, I had a very, very supportive husband who was really supportive. So when I had to study, he was always there for the children. Uh, Probably when I'm in school or in placement, he made himself available to pick up the children from school. He helped a lot, with their homeworks and everything. And again,
Yeah.
for me, I had to identify the time where I can be most productive that would not, compromise family life, and that is early in the morning. So a lot of times I have to be awake by 4 a.m. Between 4 a.m.,
Wow.
7 a.m., you see me studying, you see me doing assignments and everything, trying to do whatever I can do before everybody is up and we're getting ready, to go about our daily
Yeah.
activities.
Wow. Man, that's intense. There's something you just highlighted, the way we study. The truth is, the way lessons are delivered in the UK is so different. No lecturer will tell you to come and buy booklets. And without that, you are going to, if you don't buy the booklet, you are going to fail. There's
Yeah.
no lecturer to do that, right? And
Yeah.
there's no backyard here. So let me just say there's no backdoor movement here.
That's
Everything
all.
is so transparent, right?
So
There is no, okay, let me see if someone can help me out. You don't have that here. So whatever you put in is what you are going to get.
yeah,
You know, when you talk about that problem
problem
solving
based
kind
learning.
of problem-based learning is not something I just feel is so different. I'm not saying we are spoon-fed in Africa, but the truth is it is different.
It
It is
is.
so different. So you have to find a way to integrate yourself in the system. And
Yeah.
if you're not opportune to have group assignments, please liaise with your classmates. That
Yeah.
pride, drop it. And just level up with people in your class. And the truth is, you are likely to be older than the people in your class.
Yeah.
Level yourself up, drop that age, leave it alone, wear your backpack like a student.
Make friends.
Make friends. You're so right, man. Like, yes, make friends and just ask questions. Don't be a stranger, because if you don't ask questions, you are not going to find the answer and you're going
Yeah.
to struggle alone. And also sign up for tutorials. I'm sure you guys did tutorials in school where you
Yeah.
have to ask the lecturers questions,
Yes.
clarity on things that you do not understand. Make use of it and the things in school. There was something you said about your husband. May God bless him. Thank you very much, sir. If you are going to be watching this, you know, it's so important, ma. So just imagine if you didn't have anyone to help you with the childcare, help you when you needed placement, that would have been so much pressure on you.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's very expensive as well. When you're paying the school fees, you have to pay for the childcare, or you have to struggle. So those things that you highlighted. So if you know you're going to embark on a reskilling journey, you need to take all of these things into consideration so that
Yeah.
you can finish whatever it is that you have started. Please take it all into consideration. The financial impacts, the children if you have one, and then other things as well. If you don't have husband, maybe you have friend. Build a support network around you. It might not be a spouse, it might be friends, it might be study pals that you have around you that will help you. It might be a community of people where you can help each other out in terms of your childcare. So think this through so that your reskilling will be successful. Thank you, ma.
Just to add to what
So
you, sorry, just to add
yes,
to,
ma'am.
well, two things I want to add. The first one, on your journey in the university, make use of your course advisors, make use of them. One of my course advisors, God bless her, she told me something during my first year. She
Yeah.
said, for every assignment or assessment you do,
Mm,
always request a feedback,
mm,
because when you go for a feedback, it increases your chance of getting 10% higher in your next in your next assessment or assignment. I found that very, very true. So ever
okay.
since she told me that, I would always go for a feedback with my tutors. And you know
Yeah.
what? It helped me a lot, in my future assignments or assessments.
Mm.
And to the glory of God, despite the busy schedule and everything, I came out with a very fantastic result from the university. So
Wow.
please
Wow.
make use of that. It's very important. And also carry it on to whatever job, when you start having interviews for jobs and everything, there's the possibility you don't get this job. Request a feedback. Where did I go wrong? What was I supposed to answer? How was I supposed to answer this question? It will help you in your next interview. So
Yes.
that's one thing I want to mention. The other bit I want to mention is when you were talking about a support system, it's very, very important. So I
Mm.
I I went back to the university, right? The following year, my husband did the same thing. So he
Wow.
he went back as well and started the whole journey as well.
Mm.
At that point, obviously, there were times where the two of us were not available. Now, it is
Wow.
the support system you're talking about that came into play for us. So,
Mm.
build relationships. Relationships matter. So, make
Yes.
sure you build good relationships, maintain it, value
Yes.
people, because you never know when they're going to, they're just going to help you out. Even sometimes
Mm.
without asking for it, you see people like, oh, is there any way I can help? And
Mm.
I must say to you, we will belong to a local assembly where we've had lots of people that have been very, very helpful. Even neighbors, at that point in time, we have neighbors that, I'm not available. And the funniest thing, because I tend to always have lessons for my children. So because of this, we
Yes.
got so close. I asked them to bring their children in, and I do lessons for her children as well. And sometimes she picks up my children. So
Wow.
establish relationships is very, very good.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, ma. Thank you very much, ma. You see, very practical tips that is being shared here. If you think there is anyone that needs to listen to this video, this is a good time. Don't listen alone. Share with people so that we can all learn together. Ma, I love what you said about that feedback. You know, people do not understand. They just go, I'm attending interviews, or this lecturer, they are being racist. Nobody is giving me mark. My colleagues, we have mark. The truth is, one thing I've noticed about we Africans, especially Nigerians, is that we speak very good English, but it does not reflect in our writing.
Yeah,
We write the way we speak.
yeah, true.
And when it comes to studying in the UK, it's not the same.
It's a
So I
different
find it
ball
that
game.
exactly, ma'am. So the fact that you're answering questions a lot in class do not translate you being able to answer that, because there are some key things that they're
Yeah,
asking in questions in essays. When they ask you to reflect, and then you start explaining. It is different. They didn't ask you to explain. One thing I noticed that we are very good at explaining things. When they ask you to reflect, they're asking you to set
Yeah.
about that thing,
Your
reflect on
emotions
it,
must be
and then
involved in your
critically
reflection.
analyze. That's right. Critically analyze that thing. And then if you go about explaining, my sister, my brother, your result is going to be poor. And it's not racism. My true, isn't it?
True.
I
Very
learned
true.
the hard way when I got this. And then
We
your
all been.
and then your presentation, they say give a presentation. You have all your answers on the board. You are reading, and they are looking at the back of your head when you are presenting. You are reading, they are reading. There is no connection. And then you're like, upon all the things I loaded in my presentation, I still got this mark. No, 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 no. This is not fair. My sister, my brother, they are very fair. You should write bullet points on those PowerPoints. Have one look at it and flow naturally from it. So the way we present is very different. So you might have to learn how to present. Another big thing that knock us out is references. But I don't know about the ed sector if you guys do references, but there are people that has been taken to the school board for
Yeah.
plagiarism
Plagiarism. Yeah. Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
references. I
True.
don't know if you do references in your industry because
We had to learn it. In
uh,
fact, references was like another a full day job after assignment to make sure you get it right.
so you see, you have to learn. So the way we study, if you like, you copy your lecturer's little booklet is sold to you. It will give you more mark for being a very good copier, right?
Mm,
But in this place, you can be taken to the body,
yeah.
the school body, where you have to defend yourself while you plagiarize
Yeah.
someone's work, and they can threaten to remove you from school for that. So please do take all these things very, very seriously. It might not be your skin color that is working against you. It might not be that your lecturer hates you. It's just that you do not understand the system. So like one man said, listen, understand the system, make friends, and just get it right. Thank you, ma'am. So okay, I said you've already answered this. It was about how you harmonize being a wife, a mother, and also a student. So the next one is after you reskilled, I'm sure there will be a lot of transitioning that will follow through. How did you manage to do this? You're transitioning, now you got the degree and everything, or before you even got that lovely job you got, how did you transition? How did you prepare yourself, transition from studying into the new career world?
To be to be honest with you, it all kind of flowed into each other
Mhm.
because part of my study was, I'd say 45% was within the university environment and 55% was within the clinical environment. So we were already working working in that role. So we were student radiographers, but you've got to you've got to go into the hospital, you've got to scan. So and it's a 9 to 5 day. So it was more or less like we were already transitioned into it. So it was for me, it was really smooth because I was already doing it. And the other thing is, as a student, I was also working as a radiology assistant. So you
Okay.
have that opportunity, obviously, because your bills don't stop because you're working. So the bills, so you still got to make sure that you're bringing in something. So sometimes after my 9 to 5, they need radiology assistant. Basically, you just assist in getting patients and everything during scans. So I might finish my 9 to 5, and then 5:30 to like 9 p.m. I work in the hospital as a radiology assistant as well. So it flowed into each other, to be honest with you. So it was more or less like I'd already started working, but then qualifying and starting to work as a professional, I think it was just it was a total different level. So obviously you felt that job satisfaction, you felt, you're starting something new that you can gradually develop, you know, develop through. And I want to thank God that, I developed through it. I got, to a very, you know, high level before I stepped out to be on my own and just going. So yeah, it was a really good transition. It was something I was looking forward to do. So I
Yes.
enjoyed it.
Okay. So I'm just
And
going to unpick that.
sorry, can I just say, during the time when you're still trying to find your feet, you had different jobs you were doing. Like I said to you, I worked in factories, I worked in the kitchen, I worked, sometimes I had to go to schools to do the cleaning. I can remember waking up in the morning, I'm like, oh no, you wake up with that feeling. Since I got into radiography, I wake up with a hype. Always,
Wow.
you got that bubble that, yes, another day. And sometimes I come home, I tell my children that if you see the way I'm just walking about in the hospital, feel like the whole world is on my shoulder. I mean, just that happiness that you're doing what you love
Yes.
is something impactful. You're touching lives one way or the other.
Yes. Yes. Ma, you're just there's a lot you've said. I need to unpack it. From what you just said now, your passion, is palpable. I can feel your passion for your job. I can feel like your patient are so lucky to have someone so passionate in their job, not just for the money, not just to pay the bills, but someone that passionately love to serve, someone that see the light in a job. So please, if you're out there listening, do something that you are passionate about. Don't just go in for the money. Where you wake up, it's like they are flogging you to go back to work. Do something that you're passionate about. Don't copy people, don't because of their lifestyle. If you know you're not passionate about it, just imagine the amount of years you're going to spend doing something you do not love. Because mine is like you're passionate about it and you even get paid for it. How cool is that? That
Yeah.
is just awesome. And you mentioned something about being assistant radiography. That's not part of your course. I wonder how you got that job.
No, it's a radiology assistant. So my
Yes,
course my course is radiography.
yes.
So which
Did
means
you
I
get paid
qualify.
for that?
Sorry.
Did you get paid for that to be a radiologist assistant when you were studying?
Yes. So it's like a
Mm.
it's like so basically you can get on the bank with the NHS and you can just
Mhm.
pick shifts. So that's what I
Mm.
did then. So obviously you had to apply for it and everything. So it
Yes,
was just, to make extra income while you're
yes.
studying as well.
Yes, you see why I said we need to unpick that. Because some people would like, oh, if I go and study radiography, like this lovely woman is saying, I will just get a job. Listen, she said she applied to be on the bank for NHS, and then from there she got a job. So you see another intentional move again. So whilst you are doing your study, also try and get a job that is in alignment with your job
Yeah.
because
Mm,
that will broaden your
true.
understanding of the job. That will expose you to the environment. That will
True.
boost your confidence. That will expose you to so many things that you may not even learn in the class,
Yeah.
in the classroom. Okay, so there's a lot you did there, Ma, because you may have finished as a new student. I'm sure you did not work like a new student
No.
because of your experience level, the way you expose yourself to the learning process of your job.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Ma. And then you also said something that when you wake up in the morning, you're full with a burst of positive energy. Those are hormones where you have this dopamine.
True.
Just know that your body release. You don't need any fake drugs to start taking, like those tablets you'll be taking, like, oh, oh, I'm just down. No, you are getting dopamine from your body from doing something that you love, man. You don't
Yeah.
know. You are just blessed. That is just so good. That's good. Thank you, ma. So please, like I said before, check the reasons behind your why you want to do something. And make sure you go with a full knowing of what you want to get yourself into. Right. Okay. We are nearly done now. Now, so for those people that want to, um, after you reskilled and everything, it can be very, very daunting trying to then, how will I say it now? It can be a bit daunting. Now you are now working and everything, and it's a different challenge on its own because you are no longer you are no longer studying, you are now working. I'm sure the shift pattern will change as well. I wonder how you then manage that again. This is a new transition now from being a mother to a student, from being a student to back again to the career world, and then you have to reshuffle your family life. I just wonder how you manage to synchronize that again.
Again, it's falling back on family. Well, my
Mm.
husband and myself, and then the support system, and then obviously looking for, in everything for us, the family was a priority. you
Yeah.
know got to make sure that everybody is okay. So before I applied for the job I'm applying for, I had to check that it's going to work hand in hand with what my husband is doing, and if he's not available, we've got to have somebody. So we did have somebody. We had she's more like a family to us now. She was an elderly woman. She's a sister to a friend that, she took care of our children. In actual fact, she still called me yesterday and she was asking about one of my daughters that has just gone to the university. And they're like, oh gosh, she can't believe all the children are grown now. She's been with us since my second daughter was 4 months. So
Wow.
it's about building that connection. So those kind of support helped us because obviously
Mm.
at some point during my job I had to work 12 hours shifts,
Mm.
and my job
Wow.
sometimes I have to get up, be out of the house as early as 6:30. So sometimes I had her sleeping in the house, or sometimes if she's not convenient for her to sleep, she'll come over very early in the morning, and my husband comes back, my husband takes her back. So we just had to walk through it all together, hand in hand, and we made the children understand as well. They understand, but our top priority was that they had to be comfortable. It wasn't about taking them anywhere else. It was about
Yes.
being in their own house. So we'd rather get somebody to stay with them in the house, so they're in the comfort of their own house. They can
Yeah.
get on their room, do their own things, and we make sure they're fed, and we were keeping in touch regularly. So that's the family aspect of it. The work
Mm.
aspect is about meeting new people, and
Yeah.
obviously working with different people, which in anywhere you have people that you can easily get on with at work, and you have people that can want to make your life a bit difficult because you're a new
Yeah.
starter.
Yeah.
But I believe that the work ethics that you've embedded in you will help you through it all. As long as
Mm.
you know what, I'm here to give you my best. I'll try as much as possible to do everything I can do to make sure I'm working to the best of my ability. At the same time, I need to be open to correction because obviously I'm just starting, mistakes will occur. And
Yeah.
especially in our field, we have something where what you call the radiographer's tweak. So, as a new
Mm.
starter, when you're starting to scan your patients, you're positioning them, you've done everything. Whoever is your mentor at the time will always come and change something. It might be you've gotten it all right, but you know what? They've got to show you that, yes, I'm the radiographer in charge of you. So they come in and just do that tweak. So we
Mm.
just learned that, okay, it's a radiographer's tweak. It's all right. We won't let that worry us. So it's about just, knowing why you're there and working towards it. Don't let anybody, get you off track.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, man. That's questions that are screaming in my mind right now. The first one is when you finish your course, right? I'm sure you didn't just stop there. I'm very big on personal development, career development, and things like that. Can you tell us the benefit of that and how you've been able to be intentional in your own journey?
Right. So when I qualified as a general radiographer. So as a
Yeah.
general radiographer, you do like mainly X-rays, and you go to the theaters and all that. For you to move on to specialized areas, you you probably have to have worked as a general radiographer for about 2 3 years or so.
Yeah.
But you know, right from my first day as a student radiographer, I knew where I want to be. I was telling
Yeah.
some of my colleagues that I cannot wait 2 3 years doing this. I need to move on. So basically, I make sure I positioned myself to work in places where I know I could progress easily. There was a point I can remember. I applied for a position and I said to them, and this was for me to specialize in what I do now, MRI.
Yeah.
They don't just push you there. You have people on the waiting list wanting to get on to be an MRI radiographer. It's a lot easier now. You can just qualify and go straight to be an MRI radiographer. But back then it was slightly difficult. I can remember speaking to the CEO of my company then and said, I don't mind. I will come and volunteer to work in the MR department. You don't have to pay me, just so I
Wow.
can learn the skills there.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
like you said, it's about intentionality.
Yes.
Whatever it takes for you to get to where you want to get to, whatever you think is required. And obviously, you've got to study as well, because you've got to synchronize the study with the practical aspect. So I can do all the reading, but if I've not got the ability to practice, it's just study. So that's why I was willing, but she was like, no, it's all right. You don't have to do that. If it's one day a week, we'll put you there. But if I had not spoken up, she would have known my intention.
Yes. So you're a very clever woman, you know. You're a very, very clever woman. I love what you said. When you graduated, you've already created your progression pathway. And you were very, very intentional. I love that word positioning, the way you position yourself. Please, when you move on into a new skill, don't just say, oh, I'm new here. 2 years later, I'm new here. 3 years later, you're new here. You are not new. You're an old person in that career now. You
Mhm.
are, you are efficient. Believe in yourself. Plan a career path, because you said if you don't ask, you don't get. They can always say yes or no, but at least that no might not be permanent. At least you made known your intention. So when the opportunity comes up, they will think about you, that you want that opportunity. So it's very, very important that you position yourself well. Thank you, ma. So the final question is, your work seems very challenging. 12 hours on your feet. It's not like you can sit down for long. You
Oh no!
stand up
You
again
see, no.
12
This is
hours.
part of the this. So this is part of the thing. As a general radiographer, you don't sit. As an MRI radiographer,
Oh,
you can sit. You can see
okay.
because you sit down to do your scans. You scan from the computer. All you do is you put your
Nice.
patient in the scanner, and some scans can take about 20 30 minutes. Sometimes some scans takes up to 1 hour. So depending on what you're doing, yeah,
Nice.
which is why I knew right from the word that no, 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 I'm not going to be on my feet for 12 hours a day. No.
It's so, so daunting sometimes because you like, my feet is hurting. So I'm just wondering, ma, how do you incorporate self-care in your busy schedule?
No, right, okay. So for me, most people that know me, most of my friends, they know me. I love to have my fun. I don't joke with holidays. I
Yes.
don't joke with breaks. I Once I know that it's getting to that point, I need to step back. I do that as far as possible. I try not to work on Mondays. Most times I don't work on Mondays, and that Mondays I believe is for me. You know, Children are in school because obviously you've got a busy weekend already. And
Yes.
especially for some of us that go to church on Sundays, it is very busy. So Mondays, and again, I think unconsciously, I must have taken it from my mom, because growing
Right.
up, my mom didn't work on a Monday, and my mom was a
Right.
very busy woman as well. So I was just saying this a couple of weeks back to one of my children that, you know what, my mom never worked on Mondays as well. So I think I must have taken that from her. So I try not to work on Mondays, and just, to give myself time. And if I think, I just need a break. I need a break. I take that break. I go on massages a lot. At least 2 times a month, I'd go on a massage.
Yeah.
I love to take. I take myself. Let me just say, I take care of myself. And sometimes I can just put off my feet on a day, and like, you know what, it's movie day for me. I'm sat on the couch, and that's it.
Yes. Yes. But you seem very intentional in everything that you do, even your self-care. I ask this because women, we've been brought up to be strong women. A lot of strong women have gone before their time because they do not prioritize their self-care. You just work, 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 work. You send money on work, work. You create a good lifestyle for yourself, but that good is just mostly showing off. You don't really look inward to look after yourself. And then something you said, when my body, you just understand your body and you know when that sign is there, you need to just step back. So please, while you're trying to reskill, while you want to make loads of pounds, loads of dollars in the diaspora, remember to look after yourself, because no matter how intentional, how if you're like you have 20 years plan, if you don't have the good health, you will
Mm,
not be able to bring it to pass. Good
mhm.
health is so important. There was another thing he said, my friends know I love to have fun. You know, fun. Fun might not be spending money, it might just having a laugh.
Yeah.
It might be anything. Me, I love to laugh because the laughter is better than medicine, right? It's
Mm,
good medicine to the heart. So
yeah.
find that thing that will help you relax, that will help you manage the stress of every day, the hustling and the bustling. Don't just focus on, oh, I need to reskill and forget about your health.
Mm.
Health is wealth. So let's prioritize ourselves. Thank you very much, ma. Please, what's your final word on this topic before I let you go?
Right. So what I'd like to say is, wherever you are now, just remember, it's not your final stop.
Yeah,
It's a stepping stone. It's a learning phase. So don't be blinded by whatever you're going through. Open your eyes
yeah,
and see what it's required for you to learn at that point. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Stretch yourself. Go the extra mile.
yeah.
Remember what Walt Disney said: if you can dream it, you can do it, and you will look
Yes.
back and be glad that you pushed yourself.
Thank you very, very much, ma. That's a good wrap. I don't know what else to add to that. You've knocked it out of the water. That's like a drop mic kind of ending. So I'm just going to say thank you so, so much, Maino, for sharing from your wealth of knowledge, for being very, very authentic tonight with your sharing and everything, your journey. I just think I even appreciate where you are at right now more, knowing the journey, because a lot of sacrifices has gone through, has been put into that journey. And now you are reaping it. So thank you very, very much, Ma, for sharing. I really do honor your time and I appreciate you for sharing with us
Welcome.
tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, Ma. So we've come to the end of today's episode. Okay. So thank you very much for listening. If you know any of what we have shared today resonate with you, just comment in the comment section what stood out for you, what you are going to take away from this experience, and what you are going to take action on as a result of listening to this. I don't believe is knowledge is power. I believe applied knowledge is power. And if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just click already and subscribe. There will be more trainings. There will be coming up more diaspora journeys. There will be coming up, and also more webinars for more awareness of different things in the UK. Because it's one thing to arrive successfully in the UK, is another thing to then learn, integrate, and thrive in the UK. So thank you so much for joining us today, and have a blessed day. Bye for now, ma.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.